Hello peeps, welcome to my closet. This is Frodo, aka Fernando. Welcome to my closet. Today's video, we're going to be watching the JB Pritzker. Some people call JB the Hutt. I call him Jelly Bean. But he's somehow pretended to speak for the people of Chicago. Turns out he was lying. Let's see about that.
We are standing here united in public, in front of the cameras, unafraid to tell the president that his proposed actions will make our jobs harder and the lives of our residents worse.
How?
Earlier today in the Oval Office, Donald Trump looked at the assembled cameras and asked for me personally to say, "Mr. President, can you do us the honor of protecting our city?" Instead, I say, "Mr. President, do not come to Chicago."
Why? Yeah, okay. Blah, 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 blah. Just clapping. So he's talking about like making the community harder. What's that? Because of like there's going to be a lot of ice because of the traffic? Is that what he's talking about? Because I can guarantee you that, immigrants or legal immigrants, citizens of Chicago would love their streets free of crimes. Just like last Labor Day weekend in Chicago alone. I mean, there was like I don't know how many people got shot there, but it's like an ongoing thing. If the news says that, mass shooting, people dead, 7 died, or whatever, just like what happened in that one of the Catholic shooting with some trans person guy did it, they were saying, "Oh my goodness, let's rule the guns, let's take the guns off the streets and all of that," but yet that's Chicago's every weekend. It's like it looks like it's a mass shooting and how many people died, how many people got shot, so this guy, it's saying nope, no pressure up, we don't want you in Chicago. I think he's, like Gavin Newsom, they're trying to build a resume. This guy he thinks he can run for president in 2028. This guy, he thinks that he can run. He thinks he has the arsenal. He thinks he's capable of running the country. Can't even run the Illinois, for being a billionaire. That's what got him elected, for being a billionaire. But he's not all of that in the head. He's got freaking lard as brains. Look at him. Look at what, like the 10 people behind him.
You are neither wanted here nor needed here.
Yeah.
You sure about that?
Sure about that?
It's just gone from bad to worse to disaster.
No one really feels safe. It's impossible to feel safe in a city like this, especially with the leadership we have.
These kids are carrying guns like around the ages of 8 years old, and they're killing other 8-year-old kids with guns. It's insane.
My opinion, not enough police officers. The police officers' hands are tied.
So the police is really unappreciative for offhand under Brandon Johnson, Lori Lightfoot,
that's another
JB Pritzker.
Another idiot.
Those are three are the reason why nobody want to be a police.
Their policies when it comes to crime is not working at all.
I think the biggest piece of the pie has to be more police officers, more protection. That's what the people want.
We should be working to make sure that we are in coordination with each other. There's nothing stopping the mayor of the city of Chicago, the governor.
This guy, he's a Democrat. This guy's calling for Trump to intervene or help. And then there was a video a couple of weeks ago with that Mayor Johnson asking, some reporter host was asking him if 5,000 police officers would help at least bring down the crime of Chicago, and he would not answer because it's going to come from Trump. See, they all like political things, right? If it's going to come from Trump, they don't want it. They think it's, they don't want it because it's going to benefit him. It's going to benefit the Republicans. And this is what they think. This is what JB Pritzker said. This is what Brandon Johnson, even though he's a socialist, just like, Mamdani and all of them social Democrats, socialists, they don't want help from Trump. And they're painting this as a race. It has, race wars or something like that. that Trump is out to get the blacks and browns and the non-white, ridiculous.
The state of Illinois from picking up the phone and reaching out to the president of the United States and saying, what can we do to be on the same page?
Exactly.
The federal government has failed the city of Chicago for many years. One is they're not prosecuting gun violence charges. These are federal offenses. We need the federal government to step in and prosecute the federal charges, which are all the guns, and we will see the crime reduced. I mean, we need the federal government to start prosecuting. If they got to step in, they got to step in, because the judges that are placed in Cook County right now are not detaining, they're not prosecuting. We continue to see this 17-year-old kid who assaulted these three young men. He's got a history, and I know he's a juvenile, but he has a history. He's been on the street. People recognize him. He's very dangerous, and they continue to release people. If you go back when Kim Foxx was the prosecutor, she released over 9,000 people out of Cook County Jail. That only made it worse for the city of Chicago. They put it back in the street. We're trying to take our city back, but we need the help from the federal government to step in, prosecute them, have federal judges lock up these repeat violent offenders to put every child at risk.
South Side.
Exactly.
It's been rough, so you see a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, I remember being in the Family Dollar store that got robbed. They kick in the door. They say, everybody get down. People are screaming. Yeah. And I was only 12 years old,
Well, listen to this young fellow right here. He's well-spoken, right? So you can clearly see his head is, not your typical, YN, you want to call it, like in Chicago, and gangs and all of that. Because there's a mentality, there's a culture. There's something that's another category that has to be, dealt with. But this, this is Chicago residents speaking up. This is Chicago residents, Chicago people.
And this kind of stuff, it happens all the time. But a lot of people who don't live in these areas, they don't get to see it.
We should all be looking to continuously decrease the amount of victims in our city and in our state.
Exactly.
And instead, we're getting into this tit-for-tat social media back and forth nonsense, which is only putting the people of Chicago and the people of Illinois in the middle, in the crosshairs of who the criminals who are going to use this time to exploit and go crazy, as we're continuing to see this weekend, where we've had multiple mass shootings, multiple victims, and no one wants to talk about them. I hear the governor talking about an invasion, an insurrection. I hear the mayor writing useless orders against the federal government. But what no one is talking about is, if our crime stats are decreasing, why can't we push with Donald Trump's help and decrease them even more?
Exactly.
How many victims are we comfortable with? Because that's ultimately the subtext of what the mayor and the governor are saying, is that we are comfortable with the amount of victims we have right now. We don't need to improve on our numbers any further than that.
My first reaction was that this is a good thing. I think that the governor as well as the mayor should be on board with it, just so we can get a bit more of security in Chicago the way that we need.
The crime has dropped since 2024. Do you feel like the city feels safer?
No, not at all.
No,
especially with the police being defunded.
Mr. President, do not come to Chicago.
Oh, liar. Yeah, this guy is, he's a liar. He can't do anything. He won't be able to do anything. If ICE is in the city of Chicago and Illinois and they're going to arrest criminal illegals, he is not going to be able to do anything. So if you are illegals and criminals, same time, you are not protected by this bozo right here. This is, and that's what they need, a National Guard. I know it's not going to fix. It's a short-term fix. Long term, let's worry about that. And you have to equip the community organizers and all of that to change the mindset of this young people in Chicago. And this guy, Pritzker's and Johnson's the mayor, they're not going to be able to do it. They need Trump, and then for the short term to bring down the crime, and change some of those policies that you have in Chicago. And I can guarantee you that within 4 to 6, 7 years, the crime is going to go down, All right, then. We'll thank you again. Comment, like, share if you want. If you don't, it's up to you. Whatever.